Okay, good morning. Today is March 8th, 2016. The Rich Fan Tassel channel. We're giving you your weekly NBA report. Starting, of course, in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland Cavaliers still at the top of the conference, hold a 2.5 game lead over the Toronto Raptors. Cleveland is 44-18. Toronto is 41-20. Looks like those two teams are going to be the top two. There's potential that the Raptors may be caught, but it's still highly unlikely. They still hold a 4.5 game lead over the third place Boston Celtics. Cleveland has lost a couple here. They lost last night to Memphis. We'll get into the Grizzlies later, but they are certainly not sharp. LeBron has made the statement the team is not ready for the playoffs. They're 6-4 in the last 10. Going to be difficult for this team to get to 60 wins. They'd have to go 16-4 the rest of the way. Certainly not impossible. For Toronto, they're not basically they are basically in the same boat as Cleveland here. They lost a couple. They had that nice extended run for a little bit. They're 6-4 in the last 10 here. So those two teams, I don't know if it's just the season starting to wear on them, but you would like to see them be playing a little bit better towards the end of the year. The Celtics were playing well. They had a bad showing against Cleveland the other day. Despite the 13-game home winning streak, they're now dropped to 500 on the road. They have been a good road team for most of the season. They are at 38-26. They've had a couple days off. They will play again tomorrow against Memphis. So let's see if they can regroup and start riding the ship again, because they have the Miami Heat right on their heels at 37-26. So only a half game back and all equal in the loss department. They've won 5 straight games. They're playing very well. A lot of the teams after the top three are all on winning streaks of at least 2 games. Atlanta's on a 2-game winning streak. Charlotte is on a 4-game winning streak. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They're really solidifying themselves as one of the teams that's not going to fall out of the race. Indiana on a 2-game winning streak, and Chicago on a 2-game winning streak now that they're getting healthy. Detroit at 32-21 is a half game out of the last playoff spot occupied by the Chicago Bulls. Washington has lost 2 straight after getting to 500, so the playoffs are still not unobtainable, but they're really going to have to eliminate losing streaks like that, go on an extended winning streak here to give themselves any shot of climbing up and getting out of maybe the top 2 spots, especially the way Charlotte, who's in the 6th seed, is playing. They are right now 4 games behind Charlotte for that 6th spot to avoid Cleveland or Toronto in the first round. Orlando 27-35. They've really fallen off since being very competitive at the beginning part of the season. Milwaukee at 26-38 on a 2-game losing streak. That's almost certainly the nail in the coffin of their playoff chances. New York as well as 26-38. Only 7 games out, but with, 18 games left to play, you're not going to make up that distance. Let's see if teams like the Knicks, especially Milwaukee, it's a disappointing year regardless because they had high expectations, as I did for them. But a team like the Knicks, let's see if they can keep it under 45 losses, though. Finish out the season strong. Brooklyn, they're up to 18-45, and Philadelphia is once again in the doldrums. They're on a 12-game losing streak. In the West, Golden State Warriors responded to that tough loss on Sunday last night. They got a win over the Orlando Magic at home. They were up to 56-6. I still think they're going to break the record. I think that loss would only strengthen the resolve to get the record. I'm hearing a lot of talk about them resting. I don't like it. Just play to win. If you want to, cut back on guys' minutes during the games, that's fine. But I don't like seeing a team that has a chance and is going to not try to win. I think rest is a bit overrated. San Antonio 53-10, 3.5 games back. Highly unlikely they're going to be able to catch Golden State for the top spot. Oklahoma City Thunder, they're 4-6 in the last 10 at 43-20. So they're going to have to right the ship a bit because they're certainly not playing at peak form, and with the season winding down, heading into the playoffs, there's still enough time, 15 plus games to turn it around. Oklahoma City's almost got 20, so there's still a little bit of time left to figure things out and work through whatever issues. But this team certainly has the potential to win that Western Conference, even with the teams in front of them. So they're going to have to get their mojo back, so to speak. Los Angeles Clippers, again, pretty quiet this year. They're at 41-21. They have a shot to get Oklahoma City in the 3rd spot. We've discussed this. People say you might want to avoid Oklahoma City in the second round. You're going to have to beat Oklahoma City at some point, and even if you get up to the third spot, then you're almost certainly playing San Antonio in the second round. So it really doesn't matter, but catching Oklahoma City may give you a chance for home court advantage should the winner of the 4-5 matchup upset Golden State in the second round. But you're going to have to play them anyway, so 2.5 game difference between those two teams. Or excuse me, it's only 1.5 game difference between those two teams for third and fourth. The Memphis Grizzlies we talked about, they beat Cleveland last night. They're 38-25. They're now 8-3 without Marc Gasol. So a very professional team has buttoned things down and shown the resolve. They are holding teams to under 100 points per game. Only San Antonio in the Western Conference of playoff teams is doing that. And Memphis is just under 100 points at 99.5. They're scoring 99.2, so they're still in their negative in the differential at 0.3 of a point. You'd like to see them get out of that negative differential and move on. But you got to give them a lot of credit. A very professional team, did not go into the tank. They are 3.5 games behind Los Angeles, so they would obviously like to get the fourth spot for home court advantage in the first round. Dallas Mavericks 33-20 or 33-31. They've lost 3 straight. As well as the Portland Trailblazers, they have also lost 3 straight at 33-21. Houston Rockets 31-22, haven't played in a couple days. Let's see if they can get to 500 in their next game. They are only 1.5 games back of Dallas for the 6th spot, and Dallas is certainly not playing very well, and Portland obviously has sputtered a bit. Those two teams tied at 6 and 7. So if Houston can get up to 6, you may be able to give Oklahoma City a run for their money. They've got 19 games left. If they can finally get it together and solve it, get out of the 7th or 8th spots, maybe make some noise against an Oklahoma City or a Clippers in the second round. Who knows? Utah 1.5 games out, 29-33. They were able to get a win, which keeps them competitive. 1.5 games out, but they've got to start making moves. Sacramento 25-37. They just can't find any consistency. I'd be shocked if they make the playoffs. They're now 5.5 games back. Denver 6 games back. New Orleans is finished. They're not even above 40% winning. They're 6.5 back at 24-38. They're not even going to get to 30 wins before they get to 40 losses. So disappointing year for the New Orleans Pelicans. Minnesota Timberwolves 20-44. This again a team I'd like to see if they can finish out with avoiding 50 losses. Possibly get to 35 wins, which would be very difficult. They'd have to go 15-3 the rest of the way, so that's highly unlikely. But at least get to 30 wins and show that you're improving. Phoenix 17-46, and then the Los Angeles Clippers or the Los Angeles Lakers at 13-51. Had that nice win, but it's just not a good year for the Lakers at all. All right, power rankings: Golden State 1, of course. San Antonio number 2. Really tough one for the number 3 spot because neither Oklahoma City nor Cleveland or Toronto are playing that well. I'm going to stick with the Cleveland Cavaliers just off pedigree at number 3. Number 4, that's where I will put the Los Angeles Clippers. 6-4 in their last 10. So they're playing very well. And then number 5, I will give to the Miami Heat at 37-26, 8-2 in their last 10. Charlotte is certainly climbing up the ranks, but the record just not good enough as of right now to give that to them. So hats off to the Miami Heat. They're quietly putting forth a very impressive season this year. All right, so that is it for your weekly NBA report. Be sure to stay tuned for any flash news alerts in the rest of the week. And remember, all subscriptions are very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, good morning.